Imagine this. You're looking at a map of Europe. It's the morning of May 1st, 1940. And if you didn't know what was coming, it would look, well, deceptively stable.
It really would. You've got the Allies, Britain and France, sitting behind their massive fortifications, the Maginot Line.
And the Germans behind the Siegfried Line. I mean, we're technically 8 months into World War II, but nothing is really happening.
Exactly. The press had a great name for it, didn't they? The Phoney War.
Right. Or the Sitzkrieg in Germany.
Sitting war. But that silence, it was so dangerous. It bred this totally false sense of security in London, in Paris. The Allied leaders really thought this war would just be a repeat of the last one.
A long, drawn-out economic siege.
Yeah, that the Royal Navy would blockade Germany into submission. They thought they could just wait them out.
The long war theory. And today, we're going to break down, almost forensically, how that idea completely disintegrated in just 60 days. This isn't just a list of dates. This is a look at a military collapse so fast, so total, it just broke the world's brain.
You're right. We're dissecting the birth of Blitzkrieg, lightning war. But we have to get past that pop history idea of just fast tanks. It's about the doctrine, the gamble, and honestly, the sheer luck involved.
Okay, so let's set the board. Early May, the Allies know an attack is coming. I mean, the weather's getting better. They have a plan, right? They're feeling pretty confident.
Oh, they are? It's called the Dial Plan. And the British and French High Command were absolutely convinced Germany would just replay their 1914 strategy.
The big right hook through Belgium.
The Schlieffen Plan all over again. They were just waiting for it.
And to be fair, that was the original German plan, wasn't it?
It was, for a while, until a German officer, Erich von Manstein, he convinces Hitler that the old plan was predictable and doomed. He proposed something that sounded completely insane to the old guard.
Case yellow.
It's yellow. He said, don't send the main armored attack through the plains of Belgium. Send it through the Ardennes.
The Ardennes forest? I mean, I've seen the French reports from the time. They explicitly called it impassable to tanks. Too hilly, too many trees, roads too narrow.
And impassable is just such a dangerous word in warfare. It really just means nobody's been bold enough to try it yet.
So while the Allies are staring at Belgium,
Manstein is hiding 7 panzer divisions, pretty much all of Germany's armor, opposite that forest. A traffic jam stretching back for miles, just waiting.
Which brings us to May 10th, 1940. I mean, if there's a single day the 20th century hinges on, this might be it.
It's a day of just absolute chaos. Before dawn, the German war machine just ignites. It's a massive assault on the Netherlands and Belgium. And it's not just on the ground.
It's vertical, paratroopers.
Paratroopers dropping everywhere. They're trying to capture the Dutch government in The Hague. And then there's Fort Even-Emael in Belgium. It's supposed to be the strongest fort in the world.
And what happened there?
German glider troops landed silently on the roof of the fort at dawn. They used shaped charges to just blow the gun turrets off. The cornerstone of Belgian defense was gone in minutes. It sent a shockwave through Allied command.
And while all this is happening on the continent, the floor completely drops out in London.
The timing is, you couldn't write it. On that exact same day, May 10th, Neville Chamberlain resigns. He's lost the confidence of Parliament.
And Winston Churchill becomes prime minister.
He walks out of Buckingham Palace and into a world that is already on fire. The era of trying to appease Hitler ends at the precise moment Hitler unleashes total war in the West. It's staggering.
So the trap is set. The Germans hit the Low Countries, the Allies trigger their Dial Plan, and they rush their best armies north into Belgium to meet them. They think, okay, here we go. We know this playbook.
And in doing so, they put their head right in the noose. The attack on Belgium was a feint. A huge, loud, violent feint, but a feint nonetheless. It was the Matador waving the cape.
And while the best Allied troops rush north, their flank is just wide open.
Completely exposed. And that was the Ardennes. And this is where the technical details really matter. People think the Germans had better tanks. They didn't.
Yeah.
The French had more tanks and arguably better ones.
So why did they fold so fast when those panzers came out of the woods on May 13th?
2 words: doctrine and radios. The French used their tanks like infantry support, scattered all over. The Germans concentrated theirs into these massive armored spearheads, a Schwerpunkt.
And the radios.
Every single German tank had a radio. Most French tanks used signal flags.
Signal flags in 1940 against radios.
It's an impossible gap. The Germans could make decisions and react faster than the French could even report what they were seeing. By May 13th, Guderian's panzers are across the Meuse River at Sedan. The French line is shattered.
If you are enjoying this video, please watch it until the end. It helps the channel a lot and encourages us to continue our work.
So once they're across the Meuse, the sickle cut, the Sichelschnitt begins. But they don't turn toward Paris.
No, they turn west, straight for the sea.
They're driving behind the main Allied armies, cutting their supply lines, their communications, their path of retreat. The French High Command is issuing orders to defend bridges that the Germans had already crossed hours earlier. It was a total breakdown.
And what about the collateral damage? The small nations caught in the middle of this, the Netherlands, for instance.
They were neutral. They wanted no part of this. But they lasted just 5 days. The Dutch fought bravely, but it ended with a true atrocity.
Rotterdam.
On May 14th, to force a surrender, the Luftwaffe just flattened the city center. Terror bombing. Nearly 1,000 civilians killed. They threatened to do the same to Utrecht.
So the Dutch capitulated. Queen Wilhelmina escapes to London, one democracy down.
Next is Belgium. They hold out a bit longer, but by May 28th, King Leopold III surrenders the Belgian army.
And his decision was, let's say, controversial. He didn't flee, he stayed.
He saw himself as a prisoner of war with his men. But for the Allies still fighting, it was a disaster. It opened up a huge gap on their flank. It really felt like the walls were closing in from all sides.
Which brings us to the coast. The German sickle cut has reached the English Channel. The British Expeditionary Force, Britain's only professional army, is trapped around Dunkirk. Their backs are against the sea. This looks like the end.
It should have been. This is the stage for Operation Dynamo. But first you had this bizarre moment, the halt order.
Right. May 24th, the German tanks just stop miles from Dunkirk. Why?
It's one of history's great debates. The crews were exhausted, the tanks needed repairs, but the big reason was probably Hermann Goering, head of the Luftwaffe.
Ego.
Pure ego. He was jealous of the army's glory. He told Hitler, my Air Force can finish them. He wanted the credit. And that pause, that 2-day pause, gave the Royal Navy just enough time.
And this is where the legend of the little ships comes from, the Mosquito Armada.
It's a logistical miracle. The big Navy destroyers couldn't get to the beaches, so the call goes out, and hundreds of civilian boats, yachts, fishing trawlers, ferries, they crossed the channel.
Just regular people sailing into war zone, dodging Stuka dive bombers.
It was terrifying. The Stukas had those sirens, the Jericho trumpets, designed to break your will. But the little ships just kept coming, from May 26th to June 4th.
So they saved the men, but we have to be clear about the numbers.
They saved over 338,000 soldiers. A stunning success. They were hoping for maybe 45,000. But, and this is the critical part, they left everything else.
All the equipment.
All of it. 2,400 artillery guns, 65,000 vehicles, tens of thousands of tons of ammunition. The soldiers got back to England with their rifles, and that's it. Britain was essentially disarmed.
Which is why Churchill said, wars are not won by evacuations. It was a miracle of survival, but it wasn't a victory.
Not at all. Because while Britain was celebrating, France was watching its main ally leave. Imagine the morale. The British are gone, the Belgians are gone, and now the full might of the German army turns south.
June 5th, the Battle of France begins.
And it's a foregone conclusion. The French army is broken. They try to form a defensive line, the Wagon Line, but they have no reserves. The Luftwaffe controls the sky. The roads are choked with refugees. It's chaos.
And just when things couldn't get worse, a new player enters the game. Juneteenth.
Mussolini. He'd been sitting on the fence, but he sees France collapsing and thinks, I need a seat at the peace table.
It's pure opportunism.
Absolutely. He declares war and attacks France in the Alps while their back is broken in the north. President Roosevelt said it best. The hand that held the dagger has struck it into the back of its neighbor.
And then, the symbolic moment, June 14th, the fall of Paris.
A moment of just a profound shock for the entire world. The French declared it an open city to avoid destruction, so there's no fighting, just the sound of German jackboots on the Champs-Élysées.
That footage of the swastika over the Eiffel Tower, for people watching that in America, it must have been a sledgehammer blow.
It was the death of the old world. Paris was the cultural capital of the West. Seeing it fall broke the French government's will. They fled to Bordeaux, and the government it disintegrated.
And the faction that wanted to stop the fighting won out, led by Marshal Philippe Pétain.
A hero of World War I. But now an old man who believes the war is lost and democracy has failed. He asked for an armistice.
And Hitler's reply was pure theater.
Oh, he wanted to rub their noses in it. He insisted the surrender be signed in the Compiègne forest, in the very same railway carriage where Germany had surrendered in 1918. He had it dragged out of a museum for the occasion.
So on June 22nd, France officially surrenders, and the country is split in two.
The Germans occupy the north and the entire Atlantic coast, and Petain's government rules the southern free zone from the town of Vichy. France becomes a German satellite.
And while all eyes are on Paris, things are happening on the periphery. The campaign in Norway wraps up.
Right. On June 9th, the Allies pull out. They can't sustain the fight anymore. King Haakon VII escapes to London, another government in exile.
And in the east, the Soviet Union makes its move.
Stalin was shocked by how fast France fell. He thought the capitalist powers would bleed each other white for years. This German speed scared him. He needed a buffer zone, and he needed it now.
So he activates the secret parts of his pact with Hitler.
Exactly. On June 26th, the Soviets issue an ultimatum to Romania. Hand over Bessarabia and northern Bukovina.
And Romania, seeing what just happened to France, what choice did they have?
None. They complied. The Red Army marched in. It's a key point. The collapse of the West was a green light for aggression in the East, too.
So let's land this plane. It's June 30th, 1940. Let's look at the new map of Europe.
It's a geopolitical catastrophe for democracy. In just 8 weeks, Germany has conquered the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Norway, and France. The British Army is stranded on its island, waiting for an invasion that seems utterly inevitable.
And America is still on the sidelines.
America's watching in horror, but they are not in the war. Britain stands completely, totally alone.
It's just incredible. On May 1st, a stalemate. By June 30th, if you were a betting person, you'd bet on a 1,000-year Reich.
Absolutely. The fall of France proved that static defense was dead. Blitzkrieg didn't just conquer territory, it conquered the mind. It created this aura of German invincibility that would take years and millions of lives to finally break.
From the Phoney War to the total domination of the continent in 60 days, it is just a terrifying lesson in how fragile everything really is.
And how dangerous it is to always be fighting the last war. The French and British prepared for 1914. The Germans were fighting 1940. That failure to adapt, it cost millions their freedom.
A truly sobering thought. It was the moment the modern world was forged in fire.
And the moment the world held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next.
If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell to be notified about new videos, click the like button, and share the video with their colleagues as this helps us maintain the channel. Thank you.